How y'all doing today? How y'all doing today? Welcome back to the Count It All Joy podcast with your boy Will. And I'm back with another episode today, y'all. And today, man, I'm doing something differently today. Uh if you guys listened to my episode from last week, I kind of spoke on that somebody suggested uh some certain things for the pod. And I thought about it. I'm like, okay, this is a pretty good idea. So today, anyway, I hope y'all been doing well. Hope y'all had a good week. Hopefully it was productive, all those things. But yeah, today I want to talk about, God's sovereignty, but I'm going to talk about in relation to God's sovereignty or to exemplify and express God's sovereignty. I'm going to talk about the story of Samson. So if you guys want to read it yourself, it's in Judges. So I think Judges chapter 13 through 16. The little story. It's not long. It's not a long read at all, actually. Uh, but growing up, it was one of my Samson. Growing up was my favorite character in the Bible. I'm talking about character, but he was my favorite person in the Bible because I mean it was the same reason why Hulk was my favorite. Hulk was my favorite superhero, and then also Spider-Man. Those are two different types of superheroes. But Hulk, because he was ultra strong, like nobody could stop, bro. And that's how I looked at Samson. Now, when you're younger, when they tell the story, they obviously don't tell every single concrete detail. But you just knew that he killed, yeah, that he was, killing folks with his bare hands. So when I heard that, I'm like, oh, he's tough. Like, I looked at Samson as a superhero. So, but it's way more to that story, and you can pull, you can look at the story in a different light, and that's I'm older now, so I can see in a different light. And honestly, bro, Samson is just like us, and I'm gonna get into that. But Samson was just like us. Uh, so yeah, but I want to get into God's sovereignty and explaining how uh just God's all just how powerful He is, even amidst the things we do and don't do. So, anyway, I want to explain sovereignty, not really explain, just tell the definitions. Definition of sovereignty is just supreme power, authority. Uh, and obviously, God is sovereign. He's omnipotent. He's omnipresent. He's omniscient, omnipotent. He's all powerful, omnipresent. That means He's everywhere at all times. Obviously, that's beyond our um, comprehension. But omnipotent, all powerful, omnipresent, everywhere at all times, and always dwelling in omniscient, all knowing. So that explains God. And even then, He's more. Those are just the words we came up with and assign the definitions to. But God is beyond our comprehension and what we can really grasp with our minds. But yeah, God is sovereign. I say omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, and this story of Samson, again, it's my favorite story, so I'm gonna be a little bit passionate talking about. Well, it's not my favorite story. I'm chatting. I think Joseph is my favorite story. David's up there too, but like Joseph's story is kind of crazy. But then you got Job's story. You got a lot of different people. So let me not say that. I'm not gonna rank my stories right now, but I love the story of Samson. So I'm gonna just start from the beginning, and we have Samson, right? And well, before that, so before Samson was even thought of, uh, it was this guy named Manoah, and Manoah had a wife, and she was barren, so basically she couldn't have kids, and she was infertile, all those things, so she couldn't bear a kid, and it was the angel of the Lord. He came to Manoah's wife, and basically told her that she was gonna have a son. So obviously, similar to uh, Mary, the how Jesus came about, but it's similar to, and Jesus does it for a lot of people. Even so, as of right now, I'm trying to read the Bible from start to finish. And in the when they're speaking of, I think it was Abraham's wife, but I can't believe I forgot the lady's name. I want to say it was Sarah, but think it was Abraham's wife, but basically, you there's a lot of different stories where women who were barren, they couldn't have children, and God told them, or an angel of the Lord came and said, "Look, you're gonna have a kid." So there's so many different stories, but this is another story where God made sure that to carry out His mission, He made a lady that couldn't have kids have a kid. So this is where it starts at. So this is where you see God's sovereignty off the rip. All right, the angel of the Lord, he comes and tells Manoah's wife, "Look, you're gonna have a son." So, and then the angel of the Lord says that God and these people were of they made a vow. They wanted the angel of the Lord was telling them to make a vow. So this Nazarite vow, basically, the child he is dedicated to God. So God's gonna dwell in this kid, dwell in this child, and and it's gonna be from this Nazarite vow. Um, so from birth, there's no wine. You can't cut the man, no unclean food. Uh, and don't cut his hair. So that was the vow, like the Nazarite. That was like Nazarite law or whatever. That was a Nazarite vow, but it was to God, really. God for God to dwell in uh the son, which was Samson. Obviously, you wanted to make sure we're eating clean food, make sure you weren't drinking wine, and then make sure you didn't cut his hair. That was the vow that Manoah and his wife made to make sure and maintain that Samson that God would be with Samson. It was just a vow, it was a promise that they had to make to carry out this mission. So obviously Manoah, he's like, okay, of course. Him and his wife are like, yeah. He prays for guidance, and just praying for God to like show them, make sure that okay, well, make sure that they're actually doing it right. Like, please guide me and show me what I need to do for when this kid comes, because I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to mess this up. You saying this child is gonna be of you. It's gonna be dedicated to God. So I want to make sure I'm doing everything right. So the angel actually comes back and just reiterates the what they need to do as far as the vow. And yeah, so basically Samson grows up, but he grows up with the spirit of God. So he's a kid that he's different, obviously. And he's growing up, and he's you could tell that he has the spirit of God in him. So fast forward to Samson, he's a little bit older, and Samson, he was like I said, he was a special kid, but he was something else, honestly. But he had a desire for a Philistine woman. So around the time when he's supposed to get married, find a woman, back then incest was fine. So try to find somebody that's in like your family or a relative or something like that, and keep the stay. It was certain uh like people that didn't want to intermingle. So that was the same thing with the Philistine, because those people were like wicked and they were living a certain type of way. So for like the Israelites, they didn't want to build families with those type of people because of who the Philistines were. And this was a lot. This wasn't just Philistines. There were a lot of different groups of people that stayed to themselves, or they didn't want to again enter culture, whatever you would call it. They were trying to stay away from certain people. So it was really weird for Samson to want to marry a Philistine woman. It was really against his family's wishes, and really just what he should have been doing anyway. And knowing that these people were wicked and they lived a certain type of way. So uh, one thing that he like says, I forgot which verse it was, but he literally tells his husband, not his husband, that's money. He tells his dad that to look, go get me this girl. She looks good to me. Like, are we serious, bro? He said she looks good to me. I want her. I want to get on that point right there because, man, you know how many times I heard my homeboy say, she look good. She's tough. I need her. You don't know anything about her. You just know she's cute, beautiful, bad, whatever you want to call her, fine, whatever. And you just try to pursue her because of that. That's the wrong way. And he's going to figure it out. But that's the wrong way. And we do that in life. This is what I'm saying. Samson is us. Samson is me. Samson is you. Samson is everybody. But I'm not saying everybody does this, but I'm just saying it's a certain way. And he was doing this back then. Like, she looks good to me. I need her. He wasn't thinking about the other repercussions to it, the other consequences that come with that, good or bad. So, again, this is Samson. Again, this goes back to God's sovereignty. He had a plan through Samson. he was trying to use Samson. He brought Samson to this earth for a reason. And Samson, he still had uh he had his own plans, right? And God still used that for him. So instead of uh, you know, the God's plans getting messed up, he's like, okay, I can use this for good. He wants to get with a Philistine woman, that's fine. It was a weak decision, but I'm gonna use it to work against the wicked Philistine. So again, like I said, the Philistine people, they were wicked people. They were living any type of way. So don't worry. Okay, it's like God used it like, okay, I have a little spy here. I have a little person that I watch a lot of crime shows. I watch a lot of action movies. So usually it'll be like a police officer, and he has, and this real life. But this is how RICO cases get built. They have like a mole basically, and somebody that's sitting there. The mole might be there for a couple months, couple weeks, couple years, right, collecting evidence. But this wasn't the exact same thing. But you could look at Samson as a mole. That's how God was going to carry out his mission, even though that's not what he didn't want Samson to do that, get with these wicked people, but he used it for his mission to continue it. Again, God's sovereignty. It didn't mess up what God had for you. What God has for you, he has for you. He had a lot for Samson. Even though he was trying to mess it up, he couldn't. So boom, he used that situation for his good. So he's telling his dad, his parents about it anyway. So they're on the way. He's on the way, and the place is Timnah. That's what it says, Timnah. And they're on the way there. And on the way there, now him, his mom, and Samson, Samson and his parents, they're on the way to Timnah to see the woman, and a lion pulls up. Now it's not like some friendly lion. It's a lion. He on that. Like he's trying to. He's hungry. So, like I told you, the spirit of God was in Samson, and it's been in Samson since he was born. Um, and Samson, bro, literally killed bro with his bare hands. They said, in there, it said he tore the lion apart like a young goat. Basically, like tore him apart to pieces, like easy money. Just it was light to him, and it was crazy because um it just showed again God's power, but God's power was dwelling in him. God's spirit was with him. So it was crazy. That's just showing, God's power. And he had the strength. It was the strength of God. God was giving it to him. So he felt the spirit of God in him. And then on the same little trip while he's there, he kills the lion, and I think he goes to see the girl, the woman, and then once he's coming back, it's a carcass at that point. The lion's dead, and it was honey in there. So he eats the honey, and he brings some back to his parents. His parents don't know that this honey was just dwelling inside the carcass, the lion. He doesn't tell him that, but that's also I brought that point. I brought that point up as well because that's against the law as well. They weren't supposed to they weren't supposed to be eating things out of dead bodies. And his parents didn't know that, but Samson knew that. But this is another example of Samson trying to do it his own way, trying to just do it how he wants to do it. No, even knowing that God is giving him this power, like he literally just that was not you, that was God, killing that lion for you, in a sense, not in the sense that he was, and you're like, and then you just still the next motion, the next play, the next scene, you just go against them and you trying to break the law. So it's just even with that. But God, I don't want to say he let him slide, but he still carried on with his mission, even though that Samson was still just going against him. So at this point, when people are supposed to get married, they have like the little wedding, they have a little feast. And while he's there, and I think they said, and shout out to, I had this little study Bible. So it's cool when I was reading it, because I read through this like several times up to this point now, over the past few days. But in the study Bible I was reading, because I read on my phone, but I read on the study Bible as well, and they have like little notes at the bottom. And he was basically saying, usually back then the feast would last about a week. So just imagine you have a wedding feast, and you have that, and they're eating for a week. So they were there for about a week, and the family, I guess maybe the wife's Samson's wife's family and all those things. But so shout out, I love that study Bible. It was a gift, so I appreciate it. Samson, while they're at the feast, he poses a riddle to the Philistine men. So I'm going to read exactly what it says. He said, let me tell you a riddle. Samson said to them, if you can give me the answer within the 7 days of the feast, I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. If you can't tell me the answer, though, you must give me 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. So Samson over here like, okay, bet. Look, you get this riddle within these 7 days. I'm going to give you these clothes. I'm going to give you these garments, right? But if you can't tell me, you got to give it to me. You got to give me the same thing. So boom, they say, tell us your riddle. He said, tell us your riddle. They said, let's hear it. So the riddle is, out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. And for 3 days, they couldn't give him the answer. So at this point, they're like, man, this man playing with us. He brought us here. No, we're not going to get this. All right, he over here just trying to take our money. He think we sweet. So boom, I got you. The men threaten. They go to the wife. And they're like, look, you need to go to bro and figure out what the riddle is. Because I'm not trying to give it these clothes or these garments. So if you need to figure it out. If you don't, I'm going to burn you and your father's house down. So just let me know. So the wife at this point, she's scared. She got threatened. So she says, and she doesn't go back and tell, what's his name? She doesn't go back and tell Samson. She's just like, okay, boom, whatever. I'm scared. So tonight, we probably gonna do our thing. And I'm gonna get it out of him. I'm gonna get it out of him. It's cool. So at this point, his wife is pressuring him to revealing the answer because she's not trying to die. So this is something that he said. So basically he's asking her. And he's like, look, I didn't even tell my folks the sermon. I mean, that's money. I didn't even tell my people, my mom, my dad, the riddle. Like, why are you tweaking? So and she's just nagging him. And he's like, you know what, bro? Whatever, dog. He ends up telling her the riddle, like on the last day, on the 7th day. So boom, it says this, before sunset on the 7th day, the man of the town said to him, what is sweeter than honey? Oh, well, obviously, he tells her, and then she goes to tell the Philistine man, right before the 7th day or whatever. So it says, before sunset on the 7th day, the men of the town said to him, what is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion? So Samson, he said to them, he said, if you had not plowed, basically with my shorty, it says another word, but I don't know if it's going to flag it for profanity or not. But he says, if you had not plowed with my shorty, you would have not solved my riddle. So Samson on game. He's like, look, bro, there's no way you were going to figure it out. And I just told my shorty the day before, so I know y'all were trying to tap in and forget her because she's tripping, right? But I see what y'all on, so I got something for y'all. He was mad, so he's like, man, y'all tripping. And y'all doing me dirty, and then y'all threatening my wife. And she's tripping. I got something for her, but I got something for y'all too. So it says the Spirit of the Lord came upon Samson, and he killed the 30 men. And because the Lord knew that this was a certain type of, I don't know if you could say blackball, but they were trying to manipulate the situation. This was unjust. It wasn't, and nothing was fair about this. So again, the Spirit of the Lord was with him, and he killed those 30 men. And he leaves. He leaves an anchor. He goes back to his dad's crib. And as soon as he leaves, mind you, these are wicked people, so they don't really care. They don't live by morals. So they already, they were cheating, right? Manipulating the situation with the riddle. And when he leaves, mind you, he's mad. So he leaves in anger. As soon as he leaves, they assume he's not coming back. So they're like, okay, boom, I mean, all right, I'm going to give your wife to this other dude that was supposed to be his friend. Not his friend, obviously. That's the bro code. Why are you shouldn't even be thinking about my shorty. But that's not the point. But we know everybody knows bro code anyway. But that's not the point. He leaves. He goes back to his dad's crib, and Shorty, his wife, I keep calling her Shorty. I'm gonna call her Sasha. Boom, Sasha, right? Sasha, Sasha, she gets with the other dude. She gets with another dude over there, and Sasha lame, right? So she already chickened out with the riddle. Now she gets with another guy. He leaves. It doesn't. I don't think it says the amount of time he left, but it was not that long. And it says he comes back to see his wife. So he comes back. He comes back to see that she was given to another man. And I don't like how he even says that she was given to another man. No, she was going. Now maybe back then, a lot of times, sometimes the women didn't even have control over who they're gonna marry, blah blah blah. So that could have been the case, right? But I'm still not going, bro. She showed her shoe color. She showed her hand. So she was probably with him. She didn't even probably put up a fight. Now, mind you, these Philistine men were treacherous. So maybe she was like, I don't want to deal with them. I'm just do what they say. Maybe. But I also know women. And women like her, she was probably just on that already. But alas, right? Anyway, boom. So in anger again, mind you, Samson keeps doing things in anger. Samson, he's also a hothead. He's us. He's me. He's you. He's me. Nah, let me chill. But Samson, he's always doing things out of anger. And so Samson, he comes back, he finds out that Sasha, she over here choosing. So she already with another man. Man, I couldn't leave for 2 minutes to go get some milk. And are we serious? I couldn't leave for 2 minutes and you already with another guy? Say that I got some for all of y'all. So he basically gets like, I don't know how many foxes there were. I want to say 30, but I might be tweaking. But he basically burns all the Philistine crops using these foxes. He basically ties all the foxes' tails together and he ties torches to their tails and then lets them loose in like their fields or whatever. And it burns all of the Philistine crops. And they're tight, right? They're tight. These Philistine men are tight. They're like, bro, Samson, why you on that, man? They're tight. So they're like, okay, bet, we got something for you. The Philistines, in response, in revenge, they kill Sasha. So they say, don't even worry about it. You came to see your wife, we got something for you. We gonna kill Sasha. So Sasha's murked. I don't want to say rightfully so, but Sasha got murked. Let's just say that. Sasha's gone. She's out of there. Then they kill her father too. I don't know what type of ties Samson had to the father, but whatever. So what's his name? Samson. So Samson's father-in-law and his wife, Sasha, they gone. So Samson's like, man, bro, like, what's up, man? They keep going back and forth. It's a war at this point. So Samson's like, I got something for you. I'm gonna kill a bunch of men. So he just killed a bunch of men. I don't even think it said the number, but he just killed a bunch of men. Let's just say with Samson, he probably killed 100 right there. Something light for him. So he killed a bunch of men in response to them killing Sasha and her father. So Samson ends up, they're scared of Samson at this point. So to avoid conflict, it's these men of Judah. They get Samson and they hand him over to the Philistines. But Samson told the men of Judah that he's like, look, don't kill me. Don't kill me. Look, just hand me over to them. I'll spare y'all. Okay? I'll spare y'all. Just don't kill me. So they're like, okay, look, we don't want any smoke with you. We heard about you. You feel me? We read the newspaper. We saw the news. We've been on Instagram. We saw how you get down. We saw your vid on Twitter where you ripped the line apart. We saw all of that. All right? So we don't want to mess with you. We're going to send you to the Philistines. We're going to let them deal with you. Just don't touch us. All right? We cool. So boom, they make a truce right there. So Samson like, oh yeah, I got something for y'all. So again, it says again, once they hand him to the Philistines, again, it says the Spirit of the Lord. So it said the Spirit of the Lord, it was in Samson, right? And empowered Samson. And mind you, he was captive. They had bonds on him. When I tell you, this man Samson killed 1,000 Philistines. 1,000? Like, you can't tell me this is not a superhero. Now maybe an anti-hero because he over here doing other things. But this man, you can't sit here and you can't. There's no way you can't be amazed. Now, obviously, all of this is God's power. Let's not get it twisted. All right, let's not get it twisted. Let's not get misconstrued. Samson, all of these things that he's doing when it comes to these miraculous things, it's just God dwelling in them. And it says it over and over and over because it's true. But still, it's crazy. This man killed 1,000 people. 1,000. And he just killed them with a donkey's jawbone. Think about this. Think about it, bro. It literally sounds like a video game. Think about a dude running. He basically killed. Let's put it like this. Put it in perspective. Think about you go to a. All right, that's too big. Let's say you go to a high school game, right? Let's say you go to a high school basketball game. Actually, I don't want to paint that picture. Never mind. I don't want to paint that picture at all. Actually, I'm glad I stopped myself. Anyway, this man had a donkey's jawbone and killed 1,000 men with it. That's just crazy to me. That's crazy, bro. It's Hulk. Anyway, but I digress. Look, boom. So afterwards, he kills 1,000 men. And you can imagine it takes a while. It takes a while to kill one man. He killed 1,000. So you can imagine how long he was there. That man was tired. So afterwards, Samson, he cries out to God. And he's like, he cries out to God for water. He's thirsty. He's basically dehydrated. He's malnourished. He needs something. This is what he says. He says, because he was very thirsty, he cried out to the Lord. You have given your servant this great victory. And in this thing about Samson, he knew it was from God. He knew this power was from God. He knew it wasn't him. You have given your servant this great victory. Must I now die of thirst and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised? So I don't like how he said it like that. Like basically questioning God. Like, you gonna let me die like this, God? Like, come on, you gonna let me die like this? Now he didn't even have to do all that. He could have asked politely, Lord, please, I don't want to die right here. I just murked 1,000 men. Just please, I just need a little water. But he said it how he said it. Boo-hoo, right? He did what he did, and God being God, he opened up he was in Lehi. He opened up the place, and water came out of it. I can't paint the picture for y'all, but use your imagination. He opened up the place that he was in, and water came out of the place. And when he drank, his strength was restored. He drank the water that God miraculously provided for him, and his strength returned, and he was revived in a sense. And then Samson called the place in Hakor. But God showing his sovereignty. Even amidst Samson tweaking out. This man Samson was a crash out. I'm telling y'all, Samson is us. Samson is me. Samson is you. Right? He's all of us. This man Samson was a crash out. Prime time, D1, professional crash out. And we see it time and time again. And we could just see it. Like, Samson was delivered through these circumstances. But these things that he kept doing, it was driven. He wanted revenge. He wanted to get back instead of just letting God handle it. But even with that, God was still working through him. God was still sparing him. God was still caring about his message. Even though Samson was continuing to trip, God was still like, it's fine. He keeps doing this. He's trying to block his blessings, but I'm not going to let him. So it just shows, again, God's sovereignty. I'm going to keep saying it. And so fast forward, right? Samson's delivered through that circumstance. You would think he would chill. Man, I'm done with these people, man. I'm done. I'm gonna chill out, man. I'm gonna just vibe, bro. This man Samson goes and taps in with a prostitute. You would think you would think he was cool. He was done with messing with these women, these trashy women. You would think so, right? God took him through this, God took him through that. He just killed 1,000 men with a jawbone. You would think he's like, all right, let me chill, bro. I'm doing way too much. No, sir. This man goes to tapping with a prostitute. You can imagine what he was doing with her. And he ended up escaping. So the prostitute, they knew that he was there with the prostitute. So the prostitute trying to set him up. Rightfully so. So he escapes though, because it was an ambush. He escaped the ambush. And he basically carried away like the city gates, which is again crazy again, but he carried away the city gates. And then again with God's power, but his morals were in the wrong place, bro. They were messed up. He was worried about the wrong thing. So he visited that prostitute, but he dipped out. He ended up getting away. And again, you would think he would be done after this. You would think so. You would think so, but no. He falls in love with this shorty named Delilah. And let me tell you, Delilah, she had to be tough. Cause they didn't even say he fell in love with the with Sasha. Sasha was just like, yeah, she looks good to me. I need her. Rightfully so, I feel you. But they said he fell in love with Delilah. Delilah must have been some pressure for real. And I'm not gonna compare it to any woman on earth. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But let's just say Delilah was like that. Okay, Delilah, she had to be tough. And it said he fell in love with her. And again, it's another lady tied in with some bad people, tied in with the Philistines. So these Philistine leaders, they find out Samson tapping in with Delilah. So they're like, hey Delilah, let me tap in with you real quick. So we know you with Samson, we know you like him and all. That's cool. But I'll give you this bread if you figure out why he's so strong. Because this man, he's not some normal dude. This man's a beast. So if you figure out the strength, the source behind his strength, the secret behind his strength, we got something for you. You set for life. I got you. Just figure it out for me, and we got something for you. Do your job. Do your due diligence. And you cool. You set. We won't touch you. So this man, Samson, and again, it's crazy because you had Sasha. Sasha was tripping, right? Sasha did her thing, did him dirty. You had the prostitute. Prostitute did him dirty, rightfully so. She just trying to get bread. Delilah. So after the first couple times, I mean, look, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over, hoping for a different result. Shout out Nate. Nate knows why I'm saying that. But the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, hoping for a different result. You already got messed up with Sasha and the prostitute. Now you with Delilah. You thinking things are different? It's the same type of women. You messing with the same women. The same women. It's like grabbing a girl. And look, I'm not even over here trying to get on anybody because if this is you, it's you. But say you go to the strip club. You looking for a wife in the strip club. You looking for a wife in the strip club. In the club. Like, man, bro, I'm trying to find my wife. You with her for a few months. Blase. And then she cheats on you. Or you find her in the club with another guy. Or, she's not living the life you want her to live. She's out here dressing with all the cleavage, all her stomach out, stomach out is whatever, but she got Daisy Dukes on, her cheeks falling on her pants, like all those things. And you like, man, why are you acting like this? Where are you looking, brother? Samson, I'm not gonna lie, Samson was goofy. I'll keep it $150. But again, he's us. He was just like the people here now, today. This is how we act. And this is not just men. This goes for women as well. But I'm not going to get on y'all. I'll spare y'all. I'll spare y'all for today. But just know this goes for men and women. But again, I don't understand Samson. But alas, I digress. This man, Samson, he falls in love with Delilah. I told you. The Philistine leaders, they bribed her. Like, look, hey, look, you do this, blah, blah, blah. So this is how it goes. So she's trying to basically pry it out of him. Like, hey, look, again, she's doing what Sasha did. Look, just tell me, please tell me. Nagging this man. She probably trying to get him. And you know what you do at nighttime with your wife. While they're in the midst of that, she's probably trying to get, how folks pillow talk. That's the perfect time to get something out of a man. Pillow talk. That's what we call it, pillow talking. And that's the perfect time. You're vulnerable right there. You're not thinking about anything else. You're not thinking with your head. You know what you're thinking of. You're not thinking with your head, right? So that's what Delilah was trying to tap in with. So Samson was actually, hey, shout out to Samson though, for real. Because he was, look though, boom. So he actually misled her. He was lying, just saying a bunch of lies every time she was asking. And I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. So Samson, she's asking him the first time. And she's like, look, man, what is your secret? So while she's asking him, she has these Philistine men, like spies, sitting in the room. So as soon as it happens, that they can come and tie him up and then, do what they do. So Samson answered her. He said, if anyone ties me with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, I'll become as weak as any other man. Then what's her name? Delilah. She figures it out. She's like, okay, let me get. Oh, so the Philistine men are over there. So then they come try to tie him up. They tie him up. And then she's like, oh, the Philistine men are coming to capture you. They're here. Just coincidentally, right? She didn't have this plan whatsoever. Then he breaks, as soon as they put it on him, they're like, oh, we got him. Then he breaks free immediately. So she's like, oh, man, what in the world? So she's asking him again. She's like, oh, you've been playing with me. Like, you've been playing with me. Like, what is it for real? Tell me. He says, okay, if anyone ties me securely with new ropes that have never been used, I'll become as weak as any other man. You can imagine what happened. Samson, the Philistines are coming. They're trying to capture you. They put the new ropes on him. He breaks on them easily. At this point, he's playing with her. He's laughing in her face like, bro, you goofy girl. But you would think that he would be like, hey, I feel like you're trying to set me up. Let me go ahead and go about my day. But he was so whipped. He was so just immersed into Delilah. He was messed up, right? He couldn't get her off. He couldn't see everything. His whole judgment was clouded. Again, excuse me. Samson's you. He's me. He's us. He's everybody. This is real life. Now, somebody it would seem from the naked eye, superhuman strength. Obviously, is the power of God. But this man has superhuman strength. Well, he had the power of God. Let me just say that. But from the outside looking in, you look at him and he has superhuman strength. But he was just like us. Because he was just us. All that power he had was from God. But you look at his actions, he's doing the same stuff we do. The same stuff. This man knows this woman's not good for him. She's actively setting you up. And you know it. And you like, hey, I'm sorry. I can't. I need her. Again, I'm going to reiterate. Delilah, for him to be on timing like this, Samson was an idiot for sure. Let's just get that straight away. He was an idiot. He was goofy. But Delilah had to be some pressure because there's no way. There's just no way. He is risking his life for this woman. Like overly. They just tied you up twice. And I know you feeling yourself and you know you're going to break away with it, but you don't think you don't stop to think like, oh, she's trying to get me gone. This is crazy work. But boom, after he does it again, Delilah, being a woman, man, all this time, this is what she says, all this time you have been making a fool of me and lying to me. Like she's not doing that. So now we're gaslighting. Again, Delilah is you, not me, but you. Delilah is every woman in this. Not least I'm chilling. I'm chilling. But there, you have Delilah as well. This is what happens today. This is real life, y'all. Like y'all have to be able to look at these stories and apply this to your everyday life. This is real deal life. This is gaslighting. This is D1 professional gaslighting. D1 gaslighting. She's literally lying to him, manipulating the situation. She's trying to get him gone. And she has the audacity to say, you're making a fool of me? She said, you're making a fool of me and lying to me. You're embarrassing me. Are we serious, Delilah? Delilah, are we serious? This is insane. So boom, she says, tell me how you can be taught. Just tell me. You're making a fool of me. She probably like, hey, if you don't tell me, if you can't tell me, I'm gonna leave you. She's probably on that. They didn't say this in here, but I'm sure she add that little sprinkle in there. Oh, don't worry. She probably some dude named Mike. Oh, don't worry, Mike. I've been wanting to give Mike a chance anyway this whole time. You playing with me. Samson whipped. He's over here like, no, I can't lose her. All right. So he replied, if you weave the 7 braids on my head into the fabric on the loom and tighten it with a pin, I'll become as weak as any other man. So while he's sleeping, Delilah, she took the 7 braids of his head and, wove them into the fabric. Obviously, nothing happened. Nothing happened. She's like, man. So basically, she said to him, how can you say I love you? Bro, this is just crazy. It's so funny reading it because this is real life. The manipulation, the gaslighting, it's just so audacious of this woman. She said, how can you say I love you when you won't confide in me? Are we serious? You're literally trying to trick me. You're trying to get me gone off a bribe. And you're lying. And she's probably crying at this point. Because you know how they get. And I'm sorry. This might sound like I'm getting on women. But y'all know how y'all get. Y'all know how emotional y'all get. Y'all don't understand the power y'all have over men. She said, how can you say I love you when you won't confide in me? She was probably doing all of that. Ugly crying, all of those things. And Samson's like, bro. She said, this is the 3rd time you have made a fool of me and haven't told me the secret of your great strength. So at this point, man, Samson's like, look, bro, I'm tired of this. What is your issue, woman? I put food on the table. I put a roof over our head. No, let me stop. But Samson's sick. He's tired of this, bro. He's like, man, are we serious right now? You really tweaking over my strength like that? You know it's from God. Why are you on me like that? But it says, with such nagging, she prodded him day after day until he was sick to the death of it. It says this, till he was sick to the death of it. She was, and y'all, ooh, I'm sorry. Yes, from personal experience, not this. Nothing like this, thank God. I've never had to deal with a woman like this as far as, But every woman likes to gaslight, intentionally or unintentionally. And every woman can and will manipulate the situation intentionally or unintentionally because women are emotional. And if you have a man that really loves you and cares for you, he can get manipulated subconsciously because of how he cares for you. And your emotions are so invested, and his emotions are invested into you, but your emotions are on full display. So he has no choice but to cater to that. And that is unintentionally or intentionally manipulating the situation. But alas, but I digress. I'm not going to get to that. I don't want to get canceled today. But look. It says, with such nagging, she prodded him day after day until he was sick to the death of it. So at that point, he's like, look, bro, I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of going back and forth with you. You got it. So he told her everything. He said, look, no razor has ever been used on my head. He said, because I've been a Nazarite dedicated to God from my mother's womb, if my head were shaved, my strength would leave me, and I would become as weak as any other man. Now, again, like I told you, it was a part of the Nazarite vow. No wine, no unclean food. Don't cut your hair. That's a part of the vow that he made to God. And God was going to be with him as long as he just kept that vow. But when you break that vow, I'm not going to be with you, but just keep the vow. And he knew this. This is why he didn't cut his hair. This is why he wasn't drinking wine. This is why he wasn't supposed to eat the unclean food. And it goes back to uh I want to say, and it doesn't explicitly, I don't know if this is an interpretation, and I don't know if it's confirmed in this, but that's why they brought up the point of him eating the honey out of the lion, because I think that was technically unclean food, but God was still with him in that. But again, but anyway, it goes to, you're not supposed to do, he wasn't supposed to do any of those things. And he kept on doing things that he wasn't supposed to do. But again, he tells her everything. He says, the razor's not supposed to be in my head. This is I've been a Nazarite dedicated to God. And this was before I was even born. So this was divine. This was a divine thing. And so he tells her, and Delilah had his hair cut. She cut that man's hair. Now at this point, he chose Delilah over God. And that's where it got messed up. And I think we need to look at ourselves as well and ask ourselves, and this is men and women. Obviously, Samson's the spearhead of this right now, of this topic, of this discussion, but this is men and women. Is the person that we spend our time with, is the person that we call our spouse, is the person that we're trying to build a relationship with, is the person that we're dating, whoever that person may be. Are we putting them ahead of God? Are we making them the center of our life? Because when you do that, that's when everything goes downhill. Because people are going to fail you. Everyone's going to fail you. Your closest friend is going to fail you. Your spouse is going to fail you. Your family, they are going to fail you. But God, he'll never fail you. And when we put those people ahead of God, nothing is going to be substantial. Nothing is fully, none of those people can give you peace for real. All that comes from God. So that's what Samson did. Samson, Delilah cut his hair, and God's strength left him. Because at that point, it's like, look, bro, you really gonna choose Shorty over me? After all I've done, I let you kill 1,000 men. 1,000. And you picked this, I'm gonna say something. You picked this little girl over me, and she's playing in your face, and you still choose her over me. It's crazy. So God said, you know what? It's cool. You're gonna see how it is without me. Because I've been intervening, I've been trying to make sure you were straight, but you're gonna see how it feels without my strength. I'm gonna make you normal again. So the Philistines capture him. Because he broke that vow. So the Philistines capture him. And they gouge his eyes out. Now just imagine somebody these people back here, they were treacherous. These Philistine people were vicious, bro. You've seen some crazy movies. You gouge brothers' eyes out. And even then, they imprison him. But even then, think about it, they gouged his eyes out, and he was still alive. That just goes to show God was still with him. You gouge my eyes out, man. Get me gone, bro. I can't see anything. Please take me away. I can't even see what I'm doing. That's a part of my senses. Gone. Just gone. Get me up out of here. So they gouged his eyes out and they imprisoned him. Now during this, he has a lot of, just imagine, you can't see anything. You have a lot of time to reflect. So he's at this point, he's in prison. They have him captured, no eyes, and he's like hung up to these little pillars. He's like tied up to these little pillars, and they basically have him like dancing and performing for them, like making a fool of bro. And because they're flexing, they're like, look, this man Samson, bro. Just imagine, because you can compare it to this. Just imagine capturing Hulk. Imagine capturing Hulk, because in this was Hulk in this case. Imagine capturing Hulk. Just you a regular smuggler person, and you capture Hulk. You gonna let everybody and their mom know it, and that's what they were doing. And he was an attraction at that point. It was like they were at the circus, at the carousel. Just, hey, look, we got him, y'all. Yeah, clap it up, clap it up. Hey, hey, dance for me, Samson, dance for me. Making him look goofy, making him look a fool of himself, and that's just what it was. And during that time, Samson, he had to reflect. That's all you can do at that point. You can't do anything else. You're captured, you can't see. So you like, so he was remorseful. And he started repenting to God. Like, I'm sorry, Lord. I know all of this. You've taken me through all this. You delivered me through all these things. And I kept on. I continue to do the same thing over and over. Letting my anger take over. Letting my lust take over. Letting my, my wants take over. All those things. And I didn't keep you in the center of everything. So I'm sorry. So he was repenting. And as his repentance grew, and as he was turning away and apologizing to God, repenting. With his repentance, his hair grew back. So because he was repenting, because he was remorseful, God's like, you know what? I'll grow your hair back, and with that, as your hair is growing back, I'm gonna make sure your strength is growing back as well. Now, the hair wasn't why. This is from God, right? All this power is from God. It's not just like because his hair grew, his strength grew. God was giving the strength back to him along with his hair growing back. And once his hair grows back, he's still talking to God. He's still asking for forgiveness. He's still just asking him to, Lord, he's praying to him. He's like, please, Lord, just this one last time. I know you've been doing, my whole life you've been taking me through. My whole life you've been looking out for me. My whole life you've been with me. And I felt your presence. But I'm just asking for this one thing, Lord. Just please, these people are making a fool of me. These people are wicked. I'm just asking one time, just give me the strength one last time to just tear this whole place down. So mind you, this is like during like Philistine, their celebration. And there's thousands of people in there. And again, he's tied up to these little pillars and pillars of the whole little thing. Just think of like a stadium or something like that. And these two pillars are holding up the whole stadium. And if you take these pillars down, the whole stadium collapses. So he's like, Lord, please, Lord, I'm tired of this. I'm sorry for what I've done, and I just want to make it right, Lord. And these people are wicked, and they're just getting away with this, Lord. Just please, let's one last time, just give me the strength to tear this whole place down. I don't care if I go with it. Just tear this whole place, please. Just give me the strength to tear this whole place down and get rid of these wicked people. So he prays to God, and God gave him the strength to push the pillars and collapse the whole temple. And he killed himself and a bunch of Philistines. And he ended up dying. All these Philistines ended up dying as well. But his family ended up actually being able to like retrieve his body and give him a actual farewell and be able to give him like take him to I don't know if it was called a cemetery back then, but give him a proper farewell and give him his due diligence, because he was a man of great strength. It was from God, but his life was ordained from the beginning. So he was a special man, and it took a lot to have that type of power, and even though it was from God, but having that type of power and still, coming back to God, be like, hey, Lord, I know I've been tripping. I let it get to my head. That's on me. I let this woman get between me and you. And I'm sorry for that. And God knew his heart, so he ended up, helping him. And even though he died during that time, like God understood that he was trying to make it right as much as he could, I guess. But if after we look at all of this, like Samson's downfall, bro, he honestly he was devoted to the wrong thing. He should have been devoted strictly to God, knowing that God had his back, knowing that God was with him, the Spirit of the Lord was with him. But he was so devoted to women. Again, Samson's you, he's me, he's us. And I'm being facetious, but Samson is just like us, bro. He was dealing with the same things. And the same thing, and I'm not just saying Samson as a man, I'm saying for women too. Where y'all value trashy men and vice versa. Where you're too focused on portraying yourself a certain way, or you're too focused on being with a certain type of guy, or vice versa. You're a guy and you're too focused on being with a certain type of girl. These things apply to all of us. And Samson had all the power in the world. He had power from God. And it still wasn't enough for him. So we just have to think about that. And just check ourselves. Check yourself at the front door. Look in the mirror and analyze. And just recognize that, hey, these things are fleeting. These things are temporary. None of this stuff will compare to what God has for us. And if we can't get our priorities straight, and our priorities straight should just be God, and everything should trickle down from that. But if we are going out of our way to not keep God in the center of what we do, that's where the issue lies. And we see Samson firsthand wilding. Just again, I told you, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And he kept doing the same thing. He didn't learn his lesson. He had to lose his eyes for him to. Ooh, hold on. I'm sorry, I just ate. Look, hold on. Oh, hold on. Samson had to lose his eyes to see the truth. Oh, hey, that's a bar. That's a bar. That's a bar. That's a bar. But for real though, Samson had to lose his eyes. He had to lose his vision to see the truth. So when we think about that, we get in our own way. We get in our own ways a lot of times. We continue to do the same stuff over and over and over and thinking something different is going to happen. We continue to not keep God in the center of what we do. When we continue to make the same mistakes, when we continue to hang around the same people, when we continue to do the same thing, when we continue to watch the same stuff, when we continue to listen to the same things, when we continue to, you know, say the same things, when we continue to do these same actions, and it's not centered around God, and you know it's not God, what God wants, obviously bad things are going to happen. And you might do these certain things and you might get these temporary results where, ooh, okay, I did this. Ooh, this felt good. Boom. But you're not understanding the long term effects of your actions. And Samson obviously didn't. This man Samson should have been dead off the Ripperson. He should have been gone. It's just, when you look at it, it's nasty work. It's disgusting work. It's crazy work. When you look at Samson and everything he was doing, bro, he should have been gone. This man killed 1,000 men with a donkey's jawbone. If that ain't God, I don't know what is, my boy. God had this man looking like Hulk. And Samson couldn't, he couldn't, he couldn't zip up his pants once. It's just crazy. And this, I'm not even trying to get on Samson because this is us. This is people today. This is not these. We look back at these people and we look at them as like some prophets. Well, some of them were prophets. Don't get me wrong. But you look at some of these people and we look at them. Oh, these are super. Nah, we could never be this faithful. We could never. Nah, their trust, man. No, these were regular, smegular, degular people, bro. They just had. They were overly faithful. They saw God. They saw the truth. So they're like, hey, this stuff I'm doing, it's gotta stop. And even then, they knew it. And they were God was talking to them through burning bushes, bro. And they were still out here wilding. This man, David, bro. This man, I'm sorry, this is a whole different, but it's just crazy because I love David. They say David was a man after God's own heart, right? David was a great guy, but he was wilding too. This man, David, was over, a certain place, and he had one of his soldiers. He thought his wife was bad. He like, oh, she's so tough. I need her. So you know what? I'm gonna put him on the forefront, even though this is one of my best soldiers. But I'm putting him on the forefront, so he's gone. I know he's gonna die. I'm gonna put him on the forefront so he can die, so I can snag his wife. And I know she's going, because she be looking at me with nice eyes, so I know she's going. So soon he sent bro into the abyss so he could have the wife. That's what David was. He was slimy like that. Like, these are some of the most important people in the Bible, some of the most faithful people in the Bible. And they were doing stuff like this. So you just, like, they were us. We can't look at these people differently. They were going through the same things we were. It was just a different time, different era. So when we look at it like that, we understand that. It's like, okay, I get it. Okay. He was just like me. So we just I want to put that into y'all heads, like paint that picture, because these people were just like us. They were no different. They were going through the same things we were. They just didn't have an iPhone. That's all it was. They were going through the same things. They just didn't have a phone to call. They had to walk. They weren't getting their cars. They got on the camel. You feel me? I mean, it's just a different era, but they were going through the same things. Same things. So, I mean, with all that being said, again, God's sovereignty is extremely evident and clear in this. Throughout all the bull jive Samson was doing, God was still with him, delivering him through it all. He was there. He had a mission for him. It was ordained from the beginning. And I know I've talked about my podcast before. I forgot which episode, but I've talked about it multiple times. But we can block our blessings for surely. And Samson was trying everything to block his blessings. He had the spirit of the Lord dwelling in him, and he was still trying to block blessings. And I'm sure Delilah was pressured. Don't get me wrong. But come on, brother. Why are we picking her over God? We have to know our place. So knowing that, and knowing that nothing is more important than God, and that His will is what we need to chase after, we need to pray that we use our gifts the right way, and that we're using them for God, and that we're praying for His will to be done, not ours, and making sure that we're not getting our own way, and just ask Him, Lord, please make it evident to me, make it clear, make me cognizant of what I'm doing, and if I'm getting my own way, if I'm trying to block my own blessings, Lord, just please show me. Because if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But that doesn't mean I need to be out here wilding. Because Samson, he ended up still, you saw at the end, he ended up still having to he had to see the repercussions. He had to face the consequences. But it wasn't stopping God's plan for him. But that doesn't mean you still need to live the way you're living. So that's what I'm saying, man. Pray, make sure that we're praying to God and asking, Lord, please show me when I'm wilding. Please make sure that, please bless me to use my gifts in the right way. Because Samson had he had the gift of God. I don't want to say the gift of God, but he had the power of God dwelling in him. God was with him. And that just wasn't enough for him. So when we look at it like that, man, we have to make sure that we're not getting ahead of ourselves and not getting ahead of God. But, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this, man. I enjoyed talking about it, bro, because this story is crazy, man. When you read the Bible, it's like, I ain't gonna lie, there's certain parts, I'm at the point where, because like I said, over the past like month and a half, I've been reading the Bible from start to finish and trying to read through everything. And there's certain parts where the Bible's like, man, what am I reading? It's like slow parts. Whereas I can't relate to this. They're talking about gold and the vows they made to the Lord, and all this stuff is good. But when we read the Bible like that, where we're just like, okay, when do we get to the good stuff? We're missing the point, right? Everything in the Bible is here to we can learn something from the Bible, and it's a living Bible, bro. It's God's word, so it's living. It can relate, even if it's a different era. It can always relate to what we're going through. So, um, yeah, man. But I enjoy doing this, man. I enjoy going back and delving back into a story that I loved as a child and I still love to this day. And just seeing everything from a different perspective now that I'm way older than, when I was first told this story. And yeah, man, I just hope y'all enjoyed it. Please let me know what y'all think. Please let me know what you agree with, disagree with. Please let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys want moving forward. Again, this was a suggestion that somebody gave me, and I was like, not specifically about Samson, but just about, telling Bible stories. And this is something I might delve into more. So let me know if you guys like this. Let me know if this is something you guys would continue to listen to and enjoy. But I enjoyed it. So just let me know. And continue to like, share, subscribe. Continue to follow the Apple podcast and the Spotify podcast. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Follow me on TikTok. I don't like TikTok, but follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram, the Casual Joy Pod. On Instagram, follow my main page. All my stuff is on there. And yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for listening in. I appreciate all the love and support, man. Stay blessed. Stay prayed up. Keep God first. Love, attitude, gratitude. And I'm out. Peace.